Welcome again to my garden located in central Indiana. I'm in zone 5. My name is Roxana and this is Soil and Margaritas. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, I am so glad that you're here. Today we're going to walk through my garden. I'm going to show you a few things that I'm working on, other things that are developing. A lot of the things in my garden this year are going amazingly well. Others are struggling, but that's just how things go in my garden year after year. I have finally decided to redo this rose garden, as I call it, area where I have my lady situated. Right now it is not exactly what I had pictured in my mind. I am honestly a little bit unsure about what to do for it. I have a few ideas. I just have to do a little bit more of research about the plants that I want to put in here. This corner right here is a little bit tricky. It does get plenty of sun, but depending on the season of the year, it does get a little bit more shade. So finding the right plants to put in here will be a challenge, but I have a couple of ideas and I will bring you along as I decide to do this. I will probably relocate all of the David Aston roses that I have here. While I do love these roses, I don't think that they do really well in this spot. Hopefully I can move them somewhere where they are a little bit happier and healthier. I still have not added any plants to my lady, to her bowl that she's carrying. All of the sedum that she has in her bowl has been carried from last year, and it is not doing so bad. But like I said, I haven't really been concentrated on this corner right here, and it really shows because there is nothing blooming right now. The hydrangeas, the limelight hydrangeas that I have here acting as a natural hedge are doing amazing. They are really performing really well. They are really hardy plants, so I am not really worried about them. I was really not worried about the temperatures that we had in the winter and hurting my hydrangeas. I did lose a lot of the plants here in the garden, but the hydrangeas really, they weren't bothered by them at all. I have a nice collection of hookras or corabels underneath the hydrangeas. I have a lot of different varieties, you guys, and it will be impossible for me to keep track of every single name for them. I just collect them here and there. A lot of them, the first year that they were planted, a lot of them, they were in containers for the whole season, and they were moved here in the fall. And after that, I have been adding here and there as needed. Some of them did die because of the temperatures of last year, but it was just an easy fix, just adding a couple more here and there. And I wanted, at the beginning of the season, I wanted to add something else to this area right here where all of the hookeras are, but I think that right now I'm really enjoying how they're filling in the spots. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a couple of different varieties, maybe some other colors or textures that I don't have here as far as hookeras go, and I will just fill this space with hookeras because I am really loving how the textures and the different colors kind of play together here. Finally, last week we got some rain, and yesterday we got plenty of water, and my plants are loving it. A few things are a little bit flat because we got really hard storms last night, but I'm so glad that we did because we have been really struggling as far as raining goes here in central Indiana. So all of the rain that we have been getting has been very welcome, and the 10-day forecast for next week looks amazing. I think we're getting a little bit more rain, but I figure I will record this video this week when it's right at the end of June, because otherwise things are just going to start taking off and I really want to document everything as it looks right now. The retaining wall looks a lot different than it did last year. If you remember, I had a bunch of honeysuckles here that sadly died because of the winter temperatures. So this year, I really couldn't make up my mind about what to grow here up on those caropenal trellises. And I decided to plant butternut squash, and that's what is trying to go up that way. This area is a little bit tricky as well when it comes to sunlight because it's in between my neighbor's home and mine, and it gets sunlight from the west side of my house. The plants are trying. I think they're doing really well for the location where they are, and I am really trying to keep an eye on those roseate geraniums, hardy geraniums, because they are loving it, especially now that they have irrigation and they get water somewhat often. They are just spreading and they love it here, you guys. They look a little bit sad right now because of all of the rain that we got last night, but don't let them deceive you. These guys are really amazing performance. I also planted a bunch of zinnias here, and I had a hard time trying to keep the plants healthy because of the roly-polies kept eating them as soon as they germinated here and they started popping out of the ground. But they are doing well. The few zinnia plants that I have here are doing well. And I do have a few volunteers. I believe that I have some Verbena bonariensis that is a volunteer here, and I am really loving that. I also think that I have a couple of amaranths that just decided to pop here on this nice little retainer bed, and I am all about it. Hopefully they get to develop nicely and they get to get huge, strong plants. I didn't really do crazy things here on this bed. I decided to just let the geranium roseans do their thing and add in some sort of vines on the trellis. I still don't know what kind of plants I'm going to do for this trellis, but I definitely want something that it's permanent there, maybe some sort of hardy rose. I still haven't decided. I'm still kind of searching my options, and this year is just going to be butternut squash, and hopefully here next month I get to show you how these plants are doing here. The huge containers that I have on each side of that brick path they're doing well. I have tomatoes and marigolds and nasturtiums growing on each container, and even though one of the tomato plants on the right of the screen is not giving me so much fruit just quite yet, the other one, the sun sugar, which happen to be my favorite cherry tomatoes, are loaded. They're loaded with fruit. I haven't harvested any tomato juice quite yet, but I have a lot of green tomatoes, you guys, and I'm very, very excited. These planters are huge. They're about 30 some inches in diameter, and they definitely have plenty of room for tomatoes and marigolds and nasturtiums to grow there. And I am very, very excited because that means that I can easily grow tomatoes in this side of my garden without having to worry about not having enough sun or the squirrels or anything else trying to get to them. I can't believe that I get to enjoy dahlia blooms in June, you guys. I have been trying to understand and to learn a lot about dahlias in the last 3 years, and I gotta say that this year is probably the best year as far as dahlias go that I get to do. And I'm honestly really, really excited about all the possibilities. I have tried them in the ground, I have tried them in raised beds and in containers, and this year I'm doing them all. and I purchased a lot of them. I purchased a lot of different kinds of varieties, and I also started a lot of them from seed, and honestly they're doing amazing. My Verbena bonariensis that I have here next to the water fountain is a volunteer, and that is probably the healthiest Verbena bonariensis that I have in my garden this year. I have gotten to love this plant, you guys. I absolutely adore the whimsical look of the tall stems, and I definitely do not mind if I get a lot of volunteers. I have a lot of weeds popping everywhere. Like I said, last week we got some rain, and last night as well, and the weeds are also thriving as well, and I do not mind just waiting a little bit until I am ready to tackle that job, because it's not one of my favorites. It is the most rewarding, but it's not my favorite, and honestly it doesn't look that bad compared to past years. I think that I can definitely go another week or two without having to weed, and the garden will still look amazing. This area right here in front of the garage, it gets full sun, and a lot of the things that I started from seed, like the petunias, coleus, foxgloves, sweet alyssum, calendula, salvia, they are loving everything that is going on here. I gotta say that one of my favorite annuals that I started from seed this year has to be the white petunias, especially this color. I'm not really sure how it will look like on the final video, but the color of these red velour petunias are more like a dark burgundy slash red color. I was a little worried they were going to be a little too red, too bright, but they are a nice deep red burgundy color that I definitely love. And being my first year of growing petunias from seed, I definitely gotta say that they were easy, and I gotta make sure that I get plenty of seeds for next year so that I can start a different amount of colors. The plants that I have in my kitchen garden, in my raised beds, are definitely thriving, you guys. I think that the irrigation that I installed this year, in combination with all of the pruning and mulching and all of the things that I have done this year, has been a huge factor for them to develop into healthy, strong plants. One of the plants that for sure is thriving in this kitchen garden is the nasturtium, and they are loving the location, they are loving the water, they are loving where they are located. I have nasturtiums kind of everywhere, popping here and there, and I think that this year the nasturtiums and I are finally liking each other. I have been trying to understand them, just like the dahlias. I have been trying to get them um, to develop into beautiful plants, and they are definitely loving that. This year I added a bunch of flowers to my vegetable garden, and I am so happy with how they are developing. Also, with the help of my husband, we make those trellises slash cages for tomatoes, and they are doing amazing so far, you guys. I cannot be any happier with them. I go really heavy when I plant my vegetables outside, and I add flowers and I direct sow seeds and I do succession planting, and I do a lot of things here in my garden. I let a lot of volunteers just do their thing wherever they go, whatever they pop up, and I am very happy with how the the vegetable garden is developing.
Remember me, I remember you. I've been thinking about you more than ever. I guess I'm lonely and starting to grow old, and I thought my youth would last forever. Take me back to when we were kids and didn't care if we were acting stupid, 'cause all we had was eyes. Where are you now? Heard you live far away, but just tell me where and I'll come see ya. 'Cause I'm afraid that I'll end up here alone. Hope you'll understand how much I need ya.
I hope that you guys got inspired by this tour. I hope that your gardens are also looking amazing. I hope to be able to do another tour in July, and hopefully by then I can show you all of the tomatoes already maturing, a lot of the dahlias already blooming. Lots going on here, you guys. Thank you for being here, and until the next time.